Willoughby, did you just swat that fly?
Well, sure, Professor. He's a pest.
Willoughby, you should know by now, not all insects are pests. Some of them are quite valuable.
Valuable? What do you mean?
Turn on the projector, and I shall show you.
Right, Professor.
Science O RAMA! Ripped from the pages of Popular Science magazine. The past is the future. Episode 1. Hatching Houseflies for Profit. 17 stories above one of the busiest streets in New York City, America's strangest livestock farm has its barns and pastures. The barns are glass jars. The pastures are mesh-enclosed cages. And the product of this skyscraper ranch is houseflies. 5,500,000 flies a year. The unique enterprise started 10 years ago when scientists of an insecticide company wished to make exact tests of the effectiveness of their product. They needed normal, healthy flies on which to test the sprays. From this small beginning, the fly farm has grown to the mass production activity of today. Under the direction of Dr. Alfred Weed, as many as 15,000 flies a day are turned out for a variety of uses. The majority end their days in spraying tests conducted in the laboratories where they are born. But others are purchased for different uses. Mrs. Norman Bell Getty's, wife of the noted industrial designer, once put in several orders for flies to feed her pet chameleon. Another New York woman, who returned from Florida with a pair of tiny tree toads, called the laboratory to inquire the price of a dozen houseflies a day for her pets. During the past summer, 5,000 flies a day have been supplied for one exhibit at the New York World's Fair. All these insects grow under exactly the same conditions. Air-conditioned apparatus keeps the humidity and temperature in the glass-enclosed fly farm the same from day to day. Ordinary flies, breeding in filth, are oftentimes troubled with mites. Insects infested with these minute parasites have reduced vitality and succumb to poison sprays more easily than healthy flies. To ensure uniform results, all flies used for testing insecticides have to be free from parasites. By raising his winged livestock under carefully controlled conditions, Dr. Weed is able to produce millions of flies that meet this requirement. The adult insects housed in mesh cages feed upon water and milk. The eggs laid by the breeding stock are carefully seeded in jars, filled with a mixture of bran, brewer's yeast, malt, and alfalfa. The complete growth cycle of the fly, from egg to adult, consumes about 10 days. For more than half of this time, the larvae, or maggots, feed and burrow through the mixture in the jars. Then they turn into tiny brown pupae, which are collected for shipment. Mailed in cardboard tubes, they produce adult flies about 3 days later. And that was this week's Science O RAMA, ripped from the pages of Popular Science magazine. The past is the future.
Now do you see, Willoughby?
Well, sure, Professor, and I know what to do about it.
Willoughby, what are you doing?
I'm letting some flies in, so I can start my own fly farm.
Oh, my.
Waterlog Productions.